Hello, everybody. This is a Calabunga Ranger Talk with me, DTV83. And
Mascara, what's up, everybody?
how's it going today? Today, we are going to be doing The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, the one that was on Netflix. Just for a refresher, there it is right there. Um, so, overall, before we start, what did you think of this movie when you first saw it?
Fast paced. That's the first compliment I can give it, just because it's very. It's like here's an action, here's an action, here's an action, here's a story beat, action, climax, finale. It moved.
Yeah.
It moved a lot faster than the cartoon. That's a big thing for me. You
Oh,
know.
that's for sure. Because when I started watching the cartoon not too long ago, I only got through like the first four episodes, and then I kind of lost interest,
Yeah.
honestly. So it was kind of hard to keep going, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
But so in the beginning of this movie, it literally starts out with Leonardo, Casey, and Michelangelo in the future, and they are being destroyed by the Krang. And I think the Krang itself looked really interesting. Um, this guy, Krang. And it's not Krang like from the original, it's the Krang. So
Yeah. It's Krang the race, not Krang the
yeah,
person.
exactly. Um, so we get into the movie. Casey gets sent back to the past to get this key. Uh, it's not a key like this; it's like a key like this. Um, the overall plot, I think, it's wonderful. What do you think of the plot line on this one?
I think that's the second positive I can give it. That there's actually a plot here.
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna be real specific and just kind of general in saying this statement. It seems like different producers. It seems
Oh,
100% like different producers. It's a different audience. It's a whole different thing because the way I remember it, at least that's how it was in my market because I'm in Florida. Was they released the first two episodes, I believe, but they were like 22-minute episodes, right? And then they started breaking them into like 10-minute little chunks
yeah,
as
about
they
that.
went along. And then once in a while they do a 22-minute episode or whatever. But it was a massive failure as a show. So I think here they try to like course correct hard. Like you could tell there's a specific narrative, there's a specific story. Like somebody came into the room and kind of like, no, you have to stick to the story. You know what I mean?
Right?
Give me a story,
Yeah.
even if it's good or bad. Give me a story. Don't give me
Yeah.
BS. This is for a different audience because that's also a big point here. The show was made for Netflix, and the show was made for Nickelodeon, and the movie was made for Netflix. So it's a different audience. So I think that's also a big positive for it.
Oh, definitely. And uh as a, person that likes the Krang, or like the original Krang, they got this suit in this one. It's kind of like a robotic suit as well, but I thought this looked awesome.
Yeah,
And the what it does, the ability of it is overwhelmingly cool because it's not like a simple, robotic. It was more of an android body. It literally moved like a human. Um,
yeah. I thought it was interesting because it's obviously taking cues from. I don't know if you've seen X-Men, but the Master Mode, like the main Sentinel leader.
oh yes.
So it kind of looks like the and a little and like 30% Galactus because he's got the
Yeah.
big, horny things and the one. So I think it takes cues from that, but good cues. So
Oh
I give
yeah.
it props there too.
See, X-Men was one of my favorite shows growing up as well, and watching
But you
the,
can see the details in the head and the cuts
oh
and
yeah,
specifically what they're influenced by, if you will. So
exactly. And this the plot of Casey Jones coming back from the future made plenty of sense because the TV show itself didn't even have Casey in it. It had I think it was Casey's mom is in the
yeah,
TV
that was
show.
that was the series finale where they reveal that it's her name is Casey Jones. Yeah,
Okay.
Cassandra Jones, because it's Cassandra Jones. I remember seeing the series finale, and that's literally the big. Oh, so that's why she's important, because she's during the whole show. They kind of like hint that she's Karai, this girl with the short hair, the one that ends up being Casey's grandmother. That they
Oh,
see.
really?
Well, not to jump ahead to the finale, but this
Yeah.
character is really hinted at being Karai, and then it's not Karai.
Oh,
But
is that
I'm
how
sorry,
is that how
go,
they
go
do
on.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can talk about that after you keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So, after Casey shows up, the turtles are nowhere in sight. He's in the middle of New York City and he's looking for April. And when he finds April, she's in the school's lab, breaking into the school's lab to find these little vials of who knows what it is because they don't really explain what's in the vial itself. And he basically jump scares her and gets knocked out by April and gets sent to the turtles' lair. And it was interesting to me because when they did that, why this person in the future has all the Donatello gear couldn't protect himself from a one hit. To me that was kind of wow moment. And then when Donnie found out he was wearing his technology, he was trying to figure out how he got the technology. And when Casey said, "You gave it to me," that would probably be one of the first things would pop in my mind is, oh, maybe this guy isn't lying. But the turtles are so immature in this thing where, they act like teenagers, basically.
Yeah, that was a huge detriment to the show, because this show was a massive flop in a lot of ways. So like here, like you're saying, they actually try to put some character development into it. There's a
Yeah.
reason for this, reason for that. Because you could tell, like, there's a lot of concepts here that aren't even bad, but they're really not turtle stuff. This would be
Oh,
perfect as a Mighty Ducks reboot. If you do the Mighty Ducks cartoon, but you use a lot of these elements like the mysticism and all of these different powers and things like that, and you have them at different sizes, because a lot of them kind of look like the roster of the Mighty Ducks. You have the big brooding one, you have this super super skinny one, then you have the kind of skinny one with the awkward head, and then you have sort of the gangly one, which is I guess Michelangelo, which kind of
yeah.
leads into the original Mighty Ducks cartoon. So a lot of these concepts, they're not really bad. They don't feel turtleish. They feel like this would work really well as a different property.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think it literally goes hand in hand with Mighty Ducks. The first thing I see is like, man, these are good ideas. They're just badly executed. Like you see somebody wearing the same shirt you're wearing, and they wear it better than you. You're like, damn, dude. You know
Right?
what I mean?
Yeah, I
that's
do.
that's I think what it is.
Yeah. I mean, again, you got the characteristics, you got all four turtles, they're all different turtles. You got Donnie the soft shell, you got Raphael the snapping turtle, Michelangelo the box turtle, and you got Leo the red California slider, I think it is. The
Yeah,
red
because he's
slider
got the
turtle.
two red
Uh
things in his face.
yeah, so I thought that was kind of a cool little, I thought that was cool they gave them that kind of idea because the snapping turtle is a very vicious creature, so that makes sense for Raph. The other turtles, I have no idea how they would fit into play with that, but I like the different sizes of turtle. I think that's one of the things that I liked about Rise of the Turtles is the different sizes. Same thing with the when they just came out. They kept them in different sizes. I think that's a great idea. Shows that that just because you're one size means you're not weak. Like Michelangelo's not really weak. He just doesn't know how to do his martial arts perfectly. They did change characteristics with Mikey. And this one, in the Rise, he's an artist, and the other ones, he's a party dude. So, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but not exactly. They change his character a little bit that way. Um,
Yeah, it's not bad
yeah,
concepts. Like I said, it's just
yeah.
it doesn't feel like Ninja Turtles
No,
a
it
lot.
doesn't.
This movie really, like you could tell, this movie really tries to go a different way, and it kind of reminds me of the Michael Bay movies. Like the first one compared to the second one, like you could tell the first one didn't get over, so they were like, well, let's bring in Rocksteady and Bebop, and let's bring in Krang, and let's try to do this, and let's make Shredder 40 years younger, and you know what I mean? Like let's make
Yeah,
a hard turn.
yeah.
It seems like a lot of stuff here was concept and then hard turn to try to fix it, because I think also because of animation, it takes so long to do animation. This was already probably already written and outlined and everything, and then they told them at the last minute, you know what, Netflix doesn't. I mean, Nickelodeon doesn't want it, so then they got the release to put it on Netflix. So
And
Netflix kind of tweaked it a little bit, and they were a little more loose because they don't have to worry about the kids programming thing, which Rise of the TMNT had to, because it's a publicly airing cartoon. It's a mainstream thing. When you're on Netflix, it's different rules. So
and I will say, like you said in the beginning, it's fast paced. It's more pleasing. It's more easier to watch than the cartoon itself.
yeah, a
I
million times.
and if it wasn't for the Krang in this, it would probably be a flop as well because the Krang gave it so much life. Because the Krang isn't this weak creature. It's not whiny like the original Krang from the '80s cartoon.
Well, it's the threat.
But
So
yeah, this
you need
this
a
one
threat.
comes out more like the 2003 cartoon Krang. Big and powerful. I liked it. I liked the way they did Krang in this for sure.
I think where they kind of like dropped the ball, and maybe they didn't even drop the ball. Maybe I just missed it because the movie is very fast paced. There's like three or four Krang that are actual characters, and then everybody else is like Blobbish, Ultron, blah 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 blah. Fine, but this is something the 2012 show did very well, because there was like, this is Krang Minor, this is Krang Prime, this is the
Yeah,
voiced by Roseanne. So you have different levels of what the Krang is. Here they kind of just, oh, you're Krang, I'm Krang, oh, let's Krang this, Krang. You
there,
have to
there,
jump into the fight sequences, so I get it, but I
yeah.
think that's where I think kind of lost some people.
So when the beginning of the movie, when the Krang appears, there's actually three Krang, like you said, the main one, and then there's a female one as well, and then
Yeah,
there's one that was supposed to open up the portal to release something, and they're all getting damaged. Splinter gets hurt in the battle, and Donnie has these little pods that come up and like they're escape pods basically, and it was kind of neat. And Casey was like, "We need to go get the key, or the world's coming to an end." And so Leo escapes and grabs the key, and basically that portal shuts down, and the main Krang is about ready to kill him, and Raph gets in the way, and Raph sends Leo back to base in the other pod, and Raph becomes this like half Krang, half Ninja Turtle. It's very weird, and
yeah.
I couldn't find a picture of it online, so I don't have it. But what do you think of that twist on the Turtles plot?
I thought it was fine. And here's another positive. I guess this would be like the third point. Here in this movie, the writing is better for each specific turtle. They're not the exact same character, you know what I mean? Which was a huge detriment to the cartoon itself, the TV show. That everybody's written exactly the same way. They all kind of sound the same too. Let's be honest, their voices are not that distinctly different.
No.
Raphael doesn't really sound like he's from Brooklyn, and I mean, they all have sort of this high pitched voice, so it's like they kind of blend. I think one of the things that also really tells of the show, I mean, into the movie, is the focus on Leonardo becoming the leader.
Yeah.
Because the show was about Raphael is the leader. Raphael is the oldest. Raphael is the biggest. He has to protect them. His little brothers, and the problem with the TV show is that the narrative is so thin, and it's like, okay, this week we're talking about this, and then completely forget it and bring in some hippopotamus that hypnotizes people. Like, oh, I don't know. I
Yeah,
thought
that was it. That was in the movie
a
too.
lot of like swerving in the cartoon that they don't do here. Here, there's
Yeah.
a specific goal. We have
Yeah.
to stop the Crane and save the day and save the future, basically.
Yeah, basically, don't let the future happen the way it was. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because even at the I mean, we can skip most of it, but they did bring the Technodrome into it. Kinda. They had it halfway
Yeah.
into the Earth, and I thought the look of the Technodrome was a very unique Technodrome because it's not just a robot. It's not a big round spear with an eye on it. it was actually like tentacles and stuff coming off of it. It was weird, but kind of different. I would have loved to see a toy of that one. That would have been a cool little toy, little Tetradrome from that movie. I don't know how it would come out, but you know,
Yeah, well, that's one of those like centerpieces that are always going to be interesting, like the Batcave or Batman.
yeah,
Every Batcave is different, so you want to see what this Batcave has compared to the other Batcave, to the Batcave of Michael Keaton, to the one of of
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yeah, you
Yeah,
want to see what's different, or the Batcave of the cartoon, or the reboot cartoon, or
yeah,
the
exactly.
Batman. It's a bunch of. It's a very cool idea too. Like it's bringing in the Technodrome, but
Yeah,
it's ambitiously like, okay, we're done. So let's why not? Why hold back the Technodrome? Because Technodrome is supposed to be a massive threat. This is the big ball where all the bad guys live, pretty much. This is
yeah,
the villain base. So I think them bringing that in too was kind of like, yeah, let's go. This show was a massive flop. But I'll say it again too,
yeah,
because the way this show released, it released like I said, like the first 2-3 episodes, and then they dropped like 4 episodes loosely, and then there was no episodes for like a year and a half. I thought the show was canceled. Most people thought it was canceled, like Thundercats Roar. But then you go online, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's like 30 more episodes that were released on YouTube and Paramount Plus or whatever the
yeah,
streamer was, and I'm like, these never actually broadcasted. You know what I mean? This is like I said. This if you're already in production, it doesn't matter if you're canceled. If the studio already gave you the money to do 35 episodes, even if you only technically show 2, you still have the other shows you made. It's very basic of television writing. Like TV shows, you can get a pilot for like 2.5 Men. Let's say, for example, you got a pilot for 2.5 Men, and it was guaranteed for 12 episodes, and then a back 12, which means that the season itself ends up being 24. If it does good, if the first 12 do, but if they don't, they don't. With live action, it's very different than animation, because with live action, the actors just don't show up, and yeah, we call it a day. We just don't do anymore. With animation, since you have to do so much animating and so many renders and so many things, you kind of have to lay out everything. So
yes,
you know what I mean? If you're already half rendered, well, why not just keep going? The perfect
exactly.
example, I don't know if you saw this show. It's very funny, and it's really, really awesome. Uh, Mission Hill. Did you ever hear about that show?
I don't think so.
It
No.
was about like hippie dudes. Bill Oakley wrote it. It was very fun.
Okay.
Or did you hear the Oblongs?
Roblox. That one sounds familiar.
That was the one with voiced by Will Ferrell and stuff.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
They only released 4 episodes on TV, and then they released 2 more on Adult Swim, like 5 years after it was canceled, and
Yeah,
then
so
they released the whole thing eventually. So it was like 12 episodes. So it's like, it's already done.
yeah.
So,
So with this Rise show, because I looked it up after watching the movie today, just for the refresher.
yeah.
Of course, they released 26 episodes on Netflix, and they had assigned a second series or sorry,
Yeah.
a second line of 26, but they got cut down to 13. So season 2 is only 13 episodes. And so I kind of did a little research on it because I guess it went from Nickelodeon to like Paramount or to one of these other high end services. So
Mhm.
like when you hop on Netflix, you find Rise of the Turtles, but you only find the first 26 episodes. So
Yeah.
I was curious, so I did a research on YouTube to see what the last episode would have been. And it did premiere on something. I don't know what it was, but it's the Fighting the Shredder. And I remember first watching this show when it first hit Nickelodeon, and like it was hard to watch then too. But I was like, "What happened to the Shredder?" And they bring in the Shredder at the very last few episodes, I guess. And it's like, okay, and he looks really good. He looks really, really good, for a Shredder. He's not perfect by any means, but he looks good for what it is.
Well, him. Uh, well, let's finish up the movie because I don't want to like go on too
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
threads.
So let's get to the Technodrome then. So they're in. So Leo and Donnie and Mikey are in the Technodrome, as Splinter, April, and Casey are outside the Technodrome fighting another. I want to say Utron, but it's the Krang as they say it in here. And so Leo's looking for Raph. Donnie's taking over the spaceship, aka the Technodrome, and Mikey's pretty much looking watch. And when Leo does find Raph, they're back at it, just fighting each other. And Leo finally figures out that, it's time just to give up, put the swords away and say, I'm done. And he was ready to die right in front of Raph. And of course, that a Disney moment, I call it the Disney moment. Raph realizes what's going on and becomes Raphael again. Um, and again, that's that growing. You gotta grow to understand what your point of the brothers was. Raph was trying to tell him, "You need to train. You need to train." Even in the beginning of this movie, and Leo's kind of a, I don't want to say a jerk, but he's more of a, I know how to do things better than you. It's the opposite way in the normal movies. Normally, it's Raph's going, "I'm better than you," and you're, the leader, but I just don't care. So they switch. Actually, they switch roles. Come to think about it, they switch roles in this show, don't they?
Yeah.
Where Leo's like, "I can do this," and Ralph's like, "No, you need to listen." Um, I didn't even think about that until now. So basically, Ralph becomes Total again, not Krang Total, but just Total, and they go after the main Krang. And I don't remember exactly how it works, but somehow they get thrown off the ship, and Leo and the main Krang's there.
Hmm.
And I do remember Casey has to go grab the key to close the portal.
Hmm.
And at that point, Leo tells Casey, I'm going to give you the word, close the portal. And they're going into the portal, you know, traps the main Krang and Leo in this portal together. And of course, Casey was having a moment of weakness. I can't trap my master sensei because Leo was his sensei in the future, I guess. That was kind of neat too. And when they get in there, they take Leo, and the Krang is just like as shock. Krang's like upset, and Leo, he was ready to kill Leo. I mean, literally, he was ready to kill Leo. And Mikey has a freak out, basically on back on the planet Earth, and finally figures out how he uses magical powers to save Leo. So, I mean, we've seen this plot a lot of times in the Turtles already. Even from the past where Shredder and Krang from the 90s was pulling something through a portal, and they get sucked into the portal into Dimension X, the whole Technodrome and everything into Dimension X. This way, it was a little different because the Technodrome gets destroyed when the portal closes, but it's the same concept. That's nothing new. But basically, Mikey rescues Leo, and that's the end of the movie. You know, Krang's stuck in the dimension or whatever you want to call it. Because they didn't say what dimension he was in. It's just in a dimension, and Leo's back on in New York City, and you got Casey Jones alive, well, still in the same timeline, but not born yet because he's not supposed to be born yet because his mom is still a young
Yeah.
teenager,
That's
and they didn't.
Cassandra. Somehow
Yeah,
she's in
yeah,
the.
yeah. So try to explain that to somebody who goes, "Hey, this is your son, Casey Jones." No, it's not.
Yeah, it's
uh,
technically a grandson, right? Because this
yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah,
timeline of it. Yeah.
yeah. It's the Terminator. It's the Terminator all over again. The first Terminator movie, John comes back to rescue his mom, and they sleep together, and he gets born. It's a crazy, crazy world out there with movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but they couldn't make Casey Jones like disappear or something, after they saved the world or something. Or after he found out that was his mom, and just all of a sudden disappeared. But it's Turtles; they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. Like I said, what did you think overall?
I think overall the movie's great. I think I could probably watch it one more time with my kids if they wanted to watch it. But the series, like we were talking about, the series is just so hard to watch, sit down, and it's like day and night, day and night. You know, you got the series that just is way out of control, way left field, and you got this movie that has one main focus, and that main focus is to save planet Earth.
Yeah,
And again, it does the one thing I wish Seth Rogen's movie did. This one, the humans saw the aliens. I don't know if they saw the turtles or not per se, but they probably might have saw them. But you know, you got the military trying to help destroy this. You got the turtles just trying to help bring back, you know, safety for the humans. And at the end, nobody knew the turtles even existed. You know,
yeah,
besides April and Casey, the only two humans that really know the turtles from any generation.
yeah. So yeah, like to close out my thoughts on the movie, like I said from the start, I think it's fast paced. I will say the best character in this show, in the movie, whatever, in this universe, to me is April. I think April's an interesting character because she's a spunky girl and she's coming into her own and all these things. This character kind of like finds her own way, right? And her fight
Right.
scenes are fun and they're well animated. Her design is cool. I think one of the problems, or not even a problem, but just like a point of contention, really, because this is a point of contention for a lot of fans is, oh, she doesn't look like my April, or she's not acting like my April. But this isn't our April timeline, so why would you?
No.
You know what I mean? You kind of have to understand that too. This is a completely different timeline. The Rise Turtles has nothing to do with the '87 Turtles, and they have nothing to do with the 2012 Turtles or the you know what I mean? It's just a different branch of the tree, so you can't look at it as oh. I think
Yeah.
it'd be cooler if I mean, well, as a show writer or whatever you want to go with, I think that's where they should have leaned more. They should have made it April and the Ninja Turtles instead of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Would have been more interesting. Just focus more on April because you're doing so many shifts here of character personalities. Like you're saying, he's an artist in one, and then he's sort of a mystic in the other. And he basically ends up getting Renata's powers as the mystic to open up the portals and bring back Leo. So you kind of don't need Renata anymore anyway. So
Yeah.
I think it would
So
be more interesting April and the Ninja Turtles as a TV show.
so let's take a quick talk about April because this is a big deal at the moment. Actually, that little conversation right there. Now, I agree with you. This April's not April from any of those timelines or even the new Mutant Mayhem April, but people are really having a hard time with April O'Neil being non-American. And I think it's
Yeah,
funny because in reality, like you just mentioned, I mean, it was a good way of saying it. It's not our timeline. It's not the 90s. It's not the 2003. It's not
yeah.
Michael Bay. It's not New Line Cinema. But again, they stay true. I mean, let's look at this picture. If we analyze, you know, you got a black April, but it's still that thin looking April. The reason people are having troubles with today's April, the Mayhem April, is because she's chubby.
Well, this
And
specific April, I think it's she's got more personality. I mean,
oh,
let's be honest too. The April of the Mutant Mayhem is kind of boring. She's just like, yeah, I'm a blogger. This April gets her like green glowing bat and her little Pikachu thing she has, and she starts whooping ass. I mean, that's what you want to see because
oh yeah,
this April isn't the April that's being trained to be a shinobi or being not. This April just don't give a damn. She's gonna fight. Period. That's it.
yeah.
That's it.
And I like this
That's
character of
it.
April.
That's it. She's just gonna start whooping butt. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to be a lot of this. Oh, let's melodrama with Leonardo and get into college. No, no, no. High school,
That's
whatever.
right.
This chick's
And
just ready to go, and that's what's interesting about it. A character that's ready to go.
yeah. And then the next character I just want to look at because I think it's an interesting view of the character is the Splinter.
Yeah, that's
Because this Splinter really bothers me. It really does. And it's not just
oh, that's
that
probably the worst character because that's supposed to be the father figure. This is your
and
mentor.
yeah, and even in the cartoon, the few episodes I watched, and even in this movie, uh, yeah, it's not that great. He is just I don't understand why they made him look that way. He's supposed to be a ninja, you know, a master ninja sensei, and he's lazy as hell. You know, he's really lazy.
I get what they're doing too, because it's sort of a rip on Drunken Master. A lot of the Jackie Chan movies where, like, some of his mentors were kind of like very handoffish, like, you figure it out, you figure it out. And then he's like, oh, that's why I let you figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character really doesn't nail anything. He looks more like a cat anyways.
Yeah. Yes,
He
he
does
does.
not look like a rat at
Yeah.
all.
Let's pull him
He looks
back
like a
up.
cat.
Yeah.
He looks like something that should be on that cartoon Top Cat.
Oh God.
He looks like he
Yeah.
belongs in Top Cat. He does not look like he
Yeah.
belongs in the Ninja Turtles. It's like, why is a Ninja Master letting himself go so badly? Like, and
Exactly.
all of his sons are like so skinny and scrawny and malnourished. Like, what's happening here? So
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
think this is the worst character of the show. And
yeah.
I've actually seen a decent amount of the show. I saw the beginning, the middle, and end, like we talked about off air. And one of the worst things they do is at the end of the proper TV show is because they're in the TV show, Raphael's supposed to be the leader, and then at the last like 2 seconds of the show, he's like, "Oh, you know what, Leonardo, you're the leader now." Oh, because I said so. And then they cut to black, and that's the end of the show.
What?
Yeah, he just for the fuck of it. I mean, I don't like to curse, but really, just
No.
for the heck of it. You know what I mean? He's like,
Yeah.
what the hell with it? You're the leader now. So your show was for nothing.
And then when they do this movie, Raph's still the leader in the movie. Oh, that was something I was going to ask you since you have seen the full show.
Yeah, the majority of it. Yeah.
Okay. Is this a show based in any of the episodes? Like, because the way it seems like is we're going to send you back to time to a certain part of the show, and then they're going to base it that way.
Okay,
But
so here's the problem that it has. Like I was saying, it doesn't really follow a continuity. So if it follows continuity when it feels like it, like when they do the 22-minute episodes, all right, we'll put in some continuity. When they do the 10-minute episodes, they're like, oh, well, the bad guy's a worm with Trump's hair. It's like, what? What are you doing, bro? That's supposed to be the bad guy, and the most popular character in the show, and he's not even popular in the show because he's pretty badly written as well. But people like just saying meat sweats.
Meat sweats.
Yeah, because they made an action figure of him. The action figure looks fine, but the character pretty much takes the spot of Pizza Face.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's very much like I've seen this before. You're just, like these two things look the same. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's Rise of the Turtles. Before we go, I had a couple of quick notes because this is the Cowabunga Ranger Talk, so we have to put some Ranger in it as well. I have actually three updates for the Power Ranger side of it. If you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right. The first is actually a follow-up on a story you had started a couple episodes back about Purple Rita being on Hasbro Pulse.
Yes.
Okay, by Super 7. So, updating that. Purple Rita is everywhere. Purple Rita is on Amazon. It's on Entertainment Earth. It's on Big Bad Toy Store. It's on... I've seen it on eBay. So Purple Rita...
eBay don't count, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's on Amazon, and it's also on Entertainment Earth and Big Bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if sooner than later we see a Purple Rita at GameStop.
That I would not be surprised about. But, when I saw it on Hasbro Pulse, I thought that was very interesting. And it wasn't just that. It was also the Dungeons and Dragons reaction figures as well. But it was just like, when I saw the Rita, I was like, why? This is Super 7's brand. It ain't Hasbro. And people have conflictions with, Super 7 and Hasbro
It's
Power Rangers.
This is also what people have a very, divisive fan base to. Like, I like WWE, so I can't like AEW, or I can't like Impact Wrestling, or I only like Impact Wrestling. I don't like Ring of Honor or whatever. No, you can like wrestlers or wrestling fans like wrestling. Ninja Turtle fans like Ninja Turtles, and you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Power Rangers like Power Rangers. Like a couple episodes ago, we were talking a little bit about where I think Super 7 should actually lean in is making more vinyl figures to replenish the original line, and people would buy a vinyl Rita right now. I mean, this Rita is also very interesting because this Rita is sort of testing the market to see how much they can expand. You know what I mean? Like they're testing the ground here. So it's not just staying at, oh, it's only, Super 7 and the E stores. No, we're gonna put it on Hasbro Pulse since Hasbro isn't gonna really do anything moving forward for the time being.
Well, that and
It's
plus,
obviously they're gonna come back, but for the time being, there's a gap. So it kind of fills a slot. You know what I mean?
it is a Hasbro licensed brand, toy line. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
this isn't a bootleg. This is
Yeah, this is
officially licensed. So
And speaking of that, I actually got one of the Waves 2 toys in today. And I have it next to me. I'll show it to you.
yeah, sure.
Because normally it comes in a brown box, but it didn't this time. It just came in this with plastic over it. But as you can see, it's King Finks. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, it's a beautiful, detailed, it's detailed, even the rings back there. I will be doing a review on this too because I do them all on reviews. But look at all the detail compared to compared to Hasbro. I mean, this thing is just, and even the second head. I don't think Hasbro gives you two heads for monsters usually. I think there's only one head. Maybe it's two. I don't know. I don't really collect Hasbro's monsters.
I have the Hasbro one. It's
Do
one.
you? It's one head. So yeah, you get two heads, and they're both really detailed, and they're two different ones.
He looks good. He looks thick. He looks like he's ready to go. I have the Hasbro one, and he's not bad figure, but the pegs in the back, the wings, they don't want to stay on.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the next video, I'll have this guy out because by then I will have the review done. But yeah.
Did you order Purple Rita, by the way? Since we're talking Purple Rita.
No, I did not.
Are you gonna?
No, and this is my reason why. I am just collecting the main line.
Okay.
And like they just announced that Bulk is coming to the Super 7 Ultimate Waves. They don't say anything about Skull, but I'm sure Bulk is coming. Skull,
That's a given.
But for me personally, that one I'm 50-50 on. I want a Bulk in my collection. Don't get me wrong. I want Bulk and Skull. I mean, they're
want
perfect.
a Bulk period because we've never had one.
Yeah, but the problem is that they're gonna make him into a Ranger. They're gonna do the. I think he's an.
I think that's just an accessory. There's no way Super 7 is gonna give you both.
No.
I think that's just like him holding the accessory.
I hope it's that. I hope it's not that he has the jacket on and you can take the jacket off. That's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is.
Give it
his classic, like probably episode 2 look. Because Bulk's had like literally 100 looks. Bulk could be his own team.
He could be.
There's Bulk. There's long hair Bulk. There's short hair Bulk. There's police Bulk. There's monkey Bulk. there's a lot of Bulk. There's Bulk. There's a Cabana Bulk with him and Skull. They're kind of like Cabana boys for Tommy in the 10th anniversary episode. There's a Samurai Bulk. You could do a lot of Bulk. So I think it's just regular standard Bulk. I think you're probably gonna get 2 heads with Bulk.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But you know what? I
hope with the cone one, with his motorcycle one, and then one regular Bulk head.
That'd be awesome. You know what? I hope they do give him though for an accessory, but you would have to have Skull with the other part of it, a sub sandwich. Give him a sub sandwich, like a half of one that's like just so long that he can't hold it by himself. So they have the other half of Skull and they connect it, and it'd be Bulk and Skull. Like in that, I don't know what episode it was, but they had an episode or two where the sub sandwich was just really long. I think that was the Pudgy Pig episode.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. He literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
I think when they get to Pudgy Pig, they're gonna have either, like you said, it's 2 halves of making the one big sandwich, or they just have Pudgy Pig with it because they gotta put a bunch of stuff in Pudgy Pig. Yeah. They had to have seen the mistakes that Hasbro made with Pudgy Pig, so they have to try to fix them. And Hasbro still has a hand in this anyways, because Hasbro's supervising. They're still saying, okay, put this, don't put that. The lunchbox thing was a good idea for Pudgy Pig, but it wasn't well executed because it wasn't a lunchbox. It's a cardboard box in yellow that people thought was a lunchbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because if you think you're buying a lunchbox with the figure in it, you're not. No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I passed that one up because I thought, hey, I could have a classic. Me personally, I thought, hey, I could have a classic lunchbox like I had when I was in school, and have
Yeah.
an action figure inside. That would have been cool, but I passed it up, and I'm glad I did.
I think I have him here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Uh, since we're talking, yeah, yeah, his cone fell off, but yeah, he's fine. This is the regular release on him.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, Pudgy Pig wasn't anything too special of a look. You know, I mean, he's a great character, but
well, here's
uh,
the engineering, and here's where Hasbro really like thumbs up to your engineering. This character is like circle based, and then you add in arms and legs. So this weight, this character stands on his own, which is also good engineering because this thing is
oh
heavy.
yeah,
This thing is heavy in the middle. But to kind of wrap up the news items, the next quick thing is the Cobra Kai putties. They're not selling. They're clogging up shelves pretty hard. Nobody's gonna pay $28
Oh
for a repaint of a putty. They're just
yeah,
and the last thing, the last kind of news item is this might be, some people know this, some people don't, but 3-0 is doing the entire Zeo wave. They're gonna do all of the entire Zeo team because they had
really?
already released a Red Ranger, the Zeo Ranger 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but they've put the announcement with all 6 heads, and they're gonna do it.
Oh, nice.
Before we go, did you have any pickups this week or anything else you wanted to hit?
Just that one I just showed you. The
Yeah.
King
I actually
Street.
have 2 pickups this week. So
Okay.
before we
My,
cut out here,
now by Friday, I should have my Dragon Zord from Super 7. I should have my what's the other one that's coming with it? I think Rita's coming with that one, not the purple one, but the standard one. And then um I should have Kimberly with that one too. So like I said, I'm collecting all the waves of Super 7 besides the extra ones. Like I really don't care about the second Dragon Zord, the gold and black one. The Rita from the comic, I call her the comic book Rita because even in the Battle for the Grid video game, she's in purple. I just realized, but again, it's a good way to branch out. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, so I should have those, and Jason's coming on Tuesday.
yeah. My
So
pickups this week were just 2. I got Prince Adam from the
oh,
Netflix show.
okay,
I think he looks perfect. He's a very well done figure.
yeah,
There's the back art there, and the other figure you actually saw like
I saw
yesterday
it. Yes.
is this bad boy.
Now, see that bad boy right there. I looked at him on Amazon, but I saw like four or five different super shredders from different companies.
Yeah,
And I was like, which one should I buy if I'm gonna buy one? Because that's something I want. I want a super shredder. Okay.
yeah,
I've never had an actual shredder character. I had a shredder that formed into a little drill, and that was it. But I love the super shredder. I always have.
well, I got this one to go with my Playmates movie Turtles because they don't have
Okay.
a shredder. So, like we were saying a few episodes back, Playmates is lacking a lot of characters in their
Oh yeah.
collector line. So,
But
hey, if
yeah.
BST wants to fill that void, like, why not? So,
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of companies actually making that super shredder, but they all look different. And it's like how close detail do I want personally, or how much money do I want to spend as well,
yeah,
to go with my old 90s collection. Basically is what I'm gonna be doing is 90s collection, trying to find something that would go with it. Um
yeah.
no, I still gotta go to my parents' house and get that box down. I have a whole box of Turtle Toys. Uh
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Do you have anything you want to plug before we cut out for the night?
Uh, at this point, no,
Any
I
social
don't.
medias or something?
Just YouTube. This one, I have a Facebook that goes for YouTube. That's on my bio of this page, and soon I'll be doing a what they used to call a Twitter, but now they have a different name for it as well. So I'll be starting a Twitter page as well for this podcast alone.
All
How
right.
about you?
Yeah, Working on making some more toys for Mascara Fighters. I'm making a giant thing specifically for Diamond series, which is my second brand. I'm making the bad guys pirate ship, the Sirena Malvada. I already announced it, and now we're in the engineering phase because I already modeled the giant pirate ship for the series. It's just now I have to 3D print it. It's got to be cut because it's going to be so massive. Like we were talking about giant play sets and stuff. This is going to be
Yeah,
a giant play set. So that's yeah,
that's
that should be
awesome.
yeah. And I'm gonna be this week showing some more views on Wave 4 of Mascara Fighters toys, the regular line. I just got the last figure like 2 days ago. I picked it up, and I'm really excited to start, making more videos and content like that.
Nice, nice. So,
Yeah,
I have one question about your toy line then.
shoot.
Your big pirate ship, just out of curiosity, if you're gonna sell one of those,
Oh,
what would
okay.
be the
So
price on one of those?
that one's a showpiece.
That's gonna be a showpiece, okay.
Yes, that's what's gonna be when I do conventions and stuff. I want to take that one with me so I can represent the brand as well as can be because that's not a that would have to be a Hasbro Pulse or like I need
That's what I was
like
where
a
I was going
studio
with
backing
this.
something like this because
Yeah.
just on 3D printing material alone, we're looking at and maybe like $60 of material. All right, just on material. Then while I modeled it obviously for free to myself, now I pass it over to the engineer that cuts it into pieces to 3D print, and then we glue it back together because nobody prints. You know what I mean? Literally, look, my hands are
Yeah.
out of the frame. Was how big this thing is gonna be. So, there's that, but yeah, I'm gonna be making a ton of videos. I'm gonna be featuring it in animated shorts. I don't know
Awesome.
if you know, but I do a lot of animated shorts, and we're up to season 8 or volume 8 of the animated shorts for Diamond series, and it's going to be included in future installments. So, stop
That's
animation
really
and stuff like
awesome.
that. I do a lot of different types of multimedia. So I'll do traditional 2D and 3D. I'll do toy. I'll do modeling. I'm actually working on some other projects that I can't talk about until I get the copyright certificate for. But
Hey, I totally
yeah,
understand that one.
yeah, but things are coming. Trust me, and I have a big thing coming in 2025 that's gonna make me a 4-time animated series creator.
Hey, that's awesome. You know what? But see,
Yeah.
there you guys go. I mean, there's a good point. We just talked about his ship that he's building for display purposes. And if you count, like he just said, $60 worth of material, this is why some of these products out there, like, the Hasbro Labs and some of these mecha stuff that they're selling, like the Turtle Layer, is why it's so expensive, even though people think it's so cheap looking. It's because the material cost and then the time and the labor to put it together, and you got to pay these people to do it. I understand why the cost can go up so high. Some of the products, maybe not need to be that high a price, but I can understand it by the point of view of, having section by section by section having to be
Yeah.
put together.
Well,
And I
we
know
can
the
get
turtle
into
layer
the
is like a
process.
really bad one to explain by, but
Yeah.
it's the one that popped in my head.
Well, I think pricing also goes into the brand. Like, okay, this is just kind of to put a pin on, a finish on this. I think bigger brands should be cheaper than smaller brands. This is
Right.
just my opinion, okay? But this is just a layman's opinion, but it's also a toy maker's opinion, and it's a, you know, series creator's opinion. You don't have to sell people on Ninja Turtles. You don't have to sell people on Power Rangers. You don't have to sell Star Wars. These are massive lines, okay? So
Yeah.
Super 7 charges you $55 for. There's no reason for that. If you don't know about Ninja Turtles, then you just don't care about Ninja Turtles. Period. Here's where I think makes sense. Super 7 right now, or there's another one, a Boss Fight or something. Yeah, let's go with Boss Fights. They're not
Okay.
always stay with Boss Fight. They'll do the Battletoads toys. Nobody knows about Battletoads, you know. So that
I
makes
do.
sense that
I
that would be
do.
$60. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like there's like 12 dudes that know it, and like 11 of them know Earthworm Jim. But you know what I mean? Like your fan base, like really they're so small. Earthworm Jim doesn't have a massive appeal like Ninja Turtles, and these are worldwide brands.
Exactly.
So I think worldwide brands should be cheaper just because you don't have to sell them. They kind of sell themselves. These are legacy brands. You don't have to sell a Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker should be cheap. Luke Skywalker should be like $5. I mean, just because he's Luke. You're gonna have a Luke if you collect Star Wars. That's it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The Millennium Falcon, whatever thing you specifically like, certain big, IPs like that should be cheaper. Like, there's Biker Mice from Mars. That's another very small audience.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a very small audience. So if you tell me Biker Mice from Mars are $55, it makes complete sense because you know what I mean. It's another and it's not to talk bad about the brand or the creators or anything like that, but we're just talking like popularity.
Yeah,
I create Mascara Fighters, so I can't, in all honesty, charge the same thing for a Mascara Fighter as I would a Ninja Turtle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Unless I would get like some beautiful, like contract with Walmart where I have so much, product that, I have to be competitive in retail. But, realistically, bro, let's be real. There's smaller lines. So smaller audiences, I think, demand a higher price point. When it's a bigger brand, it should be, you know what I mean? Like Thundercats. Thundercats is not as well known as He-Man. I mean,
yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
You know what I mean? So it would make sense that Thundercats would be more expensive because it's a smaller pool. But here's also the counter argument. There's like 6-7 people making Ninja Turtles right now. There's only one person making Thundercats, or maybe two if one does Ramen Toys decides to make a Thundercats or something. But, You know what I mean? Silverhawks. That's another one. Silverhawks should be $100 a piece, just because the audience is so small. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's like Super 7 makes Disney products.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
And it's
bro.
like when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, they do what?
Yeah.
Again, those products I can understand being $55 because it's like no one really thinks about going to buy a Disney action figure, or like they also do movies and rock stars. Like they just released Devo, and it's like, who has a Devo reaction figure? Who thinks about that?
Yeah, they're doing like Lil Bootsy reaction figures.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
all
cool
right.
idea.
Maybe you're a Lil Bootsy mark, and you gotta get.
It's a cool idea, but again, it's like, who would think about going out and buying that? We go research an action figure of Devo, or the Who, the Cure, whatever. I would have never thought about it.
Here's another little point to think about. It doesn't make sense when you don't pay the license. This is what I mean. Hasbro makes X-Men, right? They make Marvel Legends. So they have to pay Disney and they have to pay Marvel a royalty, and they have to pay them a license to make these figures and to sell them because they're not properly branded their own thing. So that makes sense. So as far as pricing goes, if something is in-house, it should not be as expensive as something that you know what I mean? Like Power Rangers. Power Rangers is 100% owned by Hasbro now. This is an in-house. You own the TV show and you own the toy line. So who are you paying outside? Nobody. So it should not be the same price. Power Rangers should not be $28. I mean, even I know inflation and whatever you want to call it, fine. I know modern times, so fine, make it $25, but $28 is really you're really pushing it. And with tax, you're looking at close to 30, maybe 30. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. But
speaking with this guy, this is made by the brand. This is made by Mattel. Mattel owns He-Man. They don't have to pay anybody out. So that makes sense.
That's like Mutant Mayhem, the little toys.
Yeah, this dude right here costs $40, but
yes, it does.
Yeah, but the loyal subjects has to pay Viacom, the Paramount company that owns Ninja Turtles. So I'm guessing like $12-15 of this has to go back to them. So
I'm sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's
just one one layman's opinion.
I can understand this. No, it makes sense. Licensing fees, all that. I don't care about inflation. I'm sorry, inflation is sorry, I disagree with inflation, but I
Yeah,
understand. Like a lot of people want a certain character, and they know if they don't get it, they're gonna have the collector's mindset of going, I missed out, and then I'm gonna have to go spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like Hasbro does something that I think is where every collector should go, well, it's gonna come back around. The MMRP characters, when I first started collecting again, I thought I missed it. So I went to go look for another company and I found Super 7. And Super 7 was just starting the line when I started collecting. So I was like, okay, perfect timing to find out that Hasbro has released Mighty Morphin 2 times already. And then they did the 30th anniversary. And I'm just like, why couldn't I have found this anywhere when I was researching Hasbro? All I found was they have been released. Some of them have been discontinued.
yeah.
And then it's happened several times. Like, oh, that's nice. So Hasbro is one of those places again, in house, charging way too much money for an action figure that they
For
keep
an in-house product.
releasing.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's their in-house product. You
yeah,
don't have to pay anybody out. Hasbro pays a huge amount of money to Star Wars and the Lucas Empire to make Star Wars toys.
yes.
You know what I mean? They don't pay anything to make well, I think they do pay Indiana Jones, but they don't. I was gonna say Transformers but Transformers is sort of like a split brand with Takara, so that's kind
Okay.
of skirting the line. All right, so with that, we're gonna end this episode. You guys take care. Remember to subscribe. Share it. We appreciate any sharing. That's always encouraged. And till next time.
See you later, guys.